Now, where it stands right now is that the Walt Disney Company is in pure panic mode, given the fact that their once trusted critics are now going against them and sharing poor reviews, absolute abysmal reviews of Disney's Snow White that stars both Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So there's a combination of things as to why this movie is just doing very poorly. We know it's a combination of the freakishly looking seven dwarves in this movie and how they are created by CGI in a very odd way. We know that the story is all out of place, it's all agenda driven, it's driven by this ideology, this typical Disney messaging, but all agendas aside, it's just a bad movie outright. It falls off a cliff after the first act, and at that point, you can really tell there's a lot of reshoots, that there's a lot of issues that went into this movie when it came to the editing, when it came to the flow of the film, the acting by both, of course, Rachel Zegler and Gal. It's really not all that authentic. There's not really much chemistry there. But focusing on South Park Studios and Paramount, and creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone and their plans for the DEI special to really take massive shots at South Park, Rachel Zegler, and even the entirety of Disney, Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger, things are about to get worse because Rachel Zegler is already beginning to get very unhinged behind the scenes towards South Park Studios and more. Let's get into this. Now, what's interesting about this whole thing, and we talked about this many times, about Paramount's plan for the DEI special serving as a sequel or another part to both the streaming wars and joining the Pandaverse, right? We know that that Pandaverse special was very much successful back in late 2023, right around October. However, with the Walt Disney Company already in disaster mode over their Snow White film, not getting good reviews from critics that they once trusted, one major development going on now involves more to do with Rachel Zegler and her attitude towards South Park Studios and Paramount after learning about what they are planning for their upcoming special called the DEI special that they plan to drop by this August that will take shots at both Zegler and the Snow White film in general. Now, after the Disney Company learned about Snow White getting mocked through their contacts over at Paramount, this information was yet again handed down to Zegler that creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone are now moving forward finally with creating a full-on parody of Rachel Zegler's version of Snow White and the terrible PR moves that Zegler even made outside of the plot of the movie. Zegler is already reportedly furious after learning that the DEI special is indeed moving forward after multiple setbacks at Paramount the past several months, and that Zegler is already warning Paramount of creating a legal case against not just them, but also South Park Studios and its creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Let me just say, guys, good luck on that one. Anyone that tried to create a legal case against South Park failed miserably. Now, already Parker and Stone are creating a full-on parody of the song that includes the lyrics of Whistle While You Work into Whistle While You're Woke for their DEI special that will involve elements of the multiverse and a battle between different versions of Snow Whites from different generations, including the Brothers Grimm, the 1937 original, the Kristen Stewart iteration of Snow White and the Huntsman, and Rachel Zegler's Snow White. The Whistle While You're Woke song that is being put together by Trey Parker and Matt Stone reportedly will trigger and triggered Rachel Zegler so much to the point that she is taking this planned parody very seriously, and even Disney executives and those that handled the creative end of Snow White are also attempting to put a stop to Paramount's efforts to humiliate Snow White and Disney as a company. The DEI special is also set to focus on Kathleen Kennedy yet again, as well as it will serve as a sequel to both the streaming wars and the Pandaverse. Both Parker and Stone are also planning to mock the criticism surrounding Snow White and the concept of DEI hires plaguing Hollywood, something that both Zegler and the Disney Company got deeply offended over after learning about that development. Both Parker and Stone are also going to involve a parody element where Cartman, Kyle, and Stan, along with Kenny, will be dressed up as the Snow White dwarves, singing along with the other seven to Whistle While You're Woke. Now, guys, let me just stop here for one moment about this. Now, I think it's brilliant that Trey Parker and Matt Stone are doubling down on this DEI special and how they are planning to mock Snow White. They are planning to mock Disney yet again because, well, look, we know that Disney was called out for what they're really all about back in 2023. In fact, it was the very South Park episode that really gained a lot of traction, I must add, but that one episode, that one special, it shed a lot of light on who Kathleen Kennedy was. There were a lot of people out there that knew nothing about Kathleen Kennedy and how she was destroying Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and everything Lucasfilm. And it really raked in a ton of people that really kind of just grew a lot more with the knowledge of what Disney was really doing. So the special will also focus on mocking President Donald J. Trump and his plan to abolish DEI, and how certain Disney princesses and Kathleen Kennedy, along with Meghan Markle, who will stand up to that battle. So again, they're dragging politics into this DEI special. South Park usually takes jabs at both sides. Maybe not all the times equally, I will be very honest about that. They could be a little bit more equal, but they tend to, yes, mock both sides. Now, what's interesting about that is the fact that you got Parker and Stone not only focusing on DEI in general, but they're focusing on the Disney company, they're focusing on Snow White and Zegler, as well as Meghan Markle. We already know that Meghan Markle will be mocked in this special as Megzilla, serving as a successor to Mecha Streisand from many seasons ago, the mockery of Barbara Streisand, you guys may recall, if you guys are diehard South Park fans. Interestingly enough, though, the DEI special is something that is already worrying Rachel Zegler and its impact on her career as an actress, along with the Disney executives who are in full panic mode over getting exposed for who they really are. The mockery of both Bob Iger and Mickey Mouse will also return in this special by this August. So again, I mean, the fact that you got Zegler, you got the Disney executives worrying, you know, over and over about this, it just goes to show you that they know exactly what they're doing. Otherwise, they wouldn't really be worrying about all that much, right? They know exactly what they've been doing, what they have been supporting, what they've been spewing to the general public and into the many brands that Disney owns. That's exactly why a lot of these brands are just going down in flames, financial flames, I must add. And that's exactly why as well, you have critics. Alright, very specifically here, critics that once supported Disney, that once shilled, quote-unquote, for Disney, are now actually taking a major step back and giving out poor reviews against Snow White, which is another major telltale sign that this movie is just flat out not a good movie. All agendas aside, in isolation, this movie is not a good one, alright? Story-wise, acting-wise, the writing, the producing, the pacing of the film, it's all out of whack, and I think it all had a lot to do with the fact that they went through 3 rounds of reshoots. Mind you, this thing was finished and all wrapped up back in 2022. Let that sink in for a moment there. And then after that, they had so many different reshoots, continuity plans that actually went to continuity errors, and that just made things into a bigger mess. But overall, I would really love to hear what everyone has to say about Snow White, South Park's efforts to humiliate Disney and expose Disney for what they're really all about, and everything related to the whole Zegler drama. I think it's going to be a brilliant special, but most of all, Disney is going to go no matter what. They're going to do whatever they have to do to damage control this actual movie, go into the damage control train, and really kind of just do that like no tomorrow, essentially. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.